back here at the NRA National Firearms Museum in the new Peterson Gallery. I'm here with my good friend Phil Schreier, Senior Curator of the National Firearms Museum. And Phil, before we get to the case we're standing in, this one caught my eye as soon as I came in the Peterson Gallery. I want to talk about it, but first, give us a quick, not as detailed as the tour you gave us earlier this month, but tell us a little bit about the flavor of the Peterson Gallery here.
Well, as you can see, John, this looks a lot different than the other end of the gallery. This part of the gallery is meant to be reflective of Mr. Peterson's style and taste, and specifically his home in Beverly Hills. We actually kind of recreated a small corner of his living room here in a small fashion with pieces of art, bronze that he had in his home and in his office. And then hanging on the wall, one of the most spectacular gun boards that was created.
And that's the neat part about this collection. It's the fantastic firearms, priceless firearms, but also the great things like this. There's displays all over the place, ammunition and different things like that. And this one, like I said, caught my eye. Tell us about this gun board.
Well, this is a really unique piece of not only firearms history, but American history. You know, in 1876, the United States held their Centennial Exposition. You know, World's Fairs and exhibitions had only been around since the late 1840s, 1850s. So that when 1876 rolled around, the United States rolled out all the stops to put on a tremendous exhibit in Philadelphia highlighting our first 100 years. And most of the world wouldn't have given us 10 years, you know, back in 1781 right, when the revolution ended.
And there we were.
And here we are 100 years later, and the captains of industry, literally. I mean, it was the American industrial complex that brought America into the prominence of a world power following our Civil War years. And that was due largely in part to wonderful little companies such as Harrington and Richardson of Worcester, Mass., who were engaged in the firearms trade. Because it was the development and the eventual manufacturing of firearms that led to the American method of manufacturing, right, making things of interchangeable parts. And as far as World's Fairs go, Colt in 1851 at the great Crystal Palace in London was able to demonstrate this innovation in manufacturing. So by 1876, the gun makers were all coming to Philadelphia to display their very best works of art. And Harrington and Richardson, which, you know, a lot of people today, you know, they give them short shrift as collecting guns.
Right. Because
they did make a number of shall we say, very economically, available guns
right,
to the common masses. Generally 5, shot revolvers. But here you see the vastness of their product line and how they were able to actually embellish and heighten the value of the guns and really make them true collectibles. You've got some beautiful engravings, and there's a wonderful full figure engraved on ivory. Engravings on mother of pearl. You've got fantastic rosewood, walnut. The guns are all nickel plated, some washed in gold. This has gold wash on it. Some full coverage engraving, some just a little bit of engraving to them. And it's called the pinwheel board because the guns actually rotated in a track. You know, it's pretty interesting.
How cool is that?
Not sure exactly where the rest of the apparatus that kept them from knocking into each other is.
And you can see markings on the felt here where they did rotate.
Yeah, you can see the tracks in the felt. And that's something else, the fact that this is still in its original condition from 1876.
Amazing.
And it came with the 2 medals that it won. It won a bronze and a silver medal at the exhibition. This is actually the second time this has been here. Because back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Mr. Peterson got into collecting real nice antique guns. His Colt collection is still marveled at today.
Absolutely.
The beauty of his antique and rarity of his Colts. And this gun board was a part of that collection and was brought out here and was displayed in the old museum downtown for a while, and then was brought here to Fairfax and displayed when we didn't have a National Firearms Museum open to the public. But that's one of the great things about the legacy of Bob Peterson. Is he was such a great and generous guy. When there was no National Firearms Museum in Fairfax, and it was in a developing plan. It took 4 years to open that museum once we moved here. It was the Robert E. Peterson antique Colt and significant gun collection, which included this, that was on display in the building.
Wow, how great is that? Now it's found its way back here. It's wonderful, and thanks for sharing with us. How can folks get more information on this particular display on the Peterson Gallery and on the National Firearms Museum?
Well, they hope that they'll come by and visit us in person. And for that, we have plenty of ample parking. We're located right off of Interstate 66 in Fairfax, Virginia, open from 9:30 to 5, 7 days a week. But if Fairfax is out of your day tripping range, you're welcome to join us on the web at nramuseum.com and see all these wonderful pieces up close. Because we've just completed a project where every single firearm in the museum has been photographed multiple times from multiple angles, and you can enlarge those. They're in high res, and you get real tight on the engraving. In fact, I'm amazed I got online the other night at home just to see if my computer at home was capable of uploading the site. And I've been with some of these guns 21 years, but when I was able to pull them up as a photograph and open that file and enlarge it, I was seeing some things for the first time.
Wow.
It was really amazing.
Fantastic.
So it's like you're at a professional sporting, gamer. You're watching the game of the Jumbotron,
right?
And in this case, the pictures are better than real life in some cases.
The Firearms Museum in HD.
Yes, that's right.
Well,
and
Phil,
it is.
Thank you so much for sharing more of the Peterson Gallery and the National Firearms Museum with us here on the Curator's Corner. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.